Today on Commander Replay, Godo Bandit Warlord gets a huge upgrade with Helm of the Host. Can Godo generate infinite combat steps before getting overrun by Rhys, Prossh, and Muldrotha? Find out next on Commander Replay. Alright, welcome back everyone. Trying out some possibly competitive Godo Bandit Warlord. This hand is a bit slow, but we have removal, which will be good against Prossh and Rhys. Yeah, I think we'll keep this, even though it's a little bit slow. We don't have any mana rocks, but we have some other good stuff, so I think it's worth keeping, and we can dig a little bit with the scroll rack, see if we can find some stuff to speed us up. So when I created this game, I specifically requested that people bring strong decks, so we're probably going to see some really powerful stuff in this game. I've played one game with this Godo deck so far, and it's a little bit too strong for a casual meta. So Godo and Aurelia, by the way, got huge upgrades in Dominaria. Helm of the Host with Godo or Aurelia gives you infinite combat steps. With Aurelia especially, it's game ending. Godo, it is likely to end the game, though it may not do it, though you may have to work a little bit depending on what's in play. If there's like indestructible blockers or things like that, it may get a little bit tricky. There's a Crucible of Worlds. We got a fetch land too. So we'll play the fetch land. I guess we'll crack the fetch land. Maybe we should have did that different with the scroll rack. Should have saved the fetch and then had it available in case we needed the scroll rack for something. Get a mountain. Tap Mountain Pass. But anyway, as I was saying, so Godo and Aurelia just got massive upgrades with Helm of the Host to a point where they're actually a little bit too good now. It's not a card that you really want to run outside of a really strong meta. If your group is more casual, I wouldn't run the Helm of the Host combo. It is a one card plus your commander ends the game combo. Very, very powerful. It's not in this deck, but the Aurelia deck also got Blackblade Reforged, which is really good in the late game. You can very easily kill a single player with that, which is probably more about on the power level that I generally prefer things to be on. I like when my decks get upgrades, but they really kind of shot over the moon with the printing of Helm of the Host. Ooh, there's a Strip Mine. We will play the Strip Mine, play the Scroll Rack. We'll see who's got artifact removal. Pass the turn. But yeah, like I said, I really didn't feel comfortable playing this deck in a casual meta. Especially after the one game that I played with it, it just got out of control. I won the game on turn 6, I think. Anyway, Rhys coming down for our opponent. Ooh, there's a Pernicious Deed. All right, that'll slow the game down a bit. So for those that don't know, by the way, Godo Bandit Warlord is 5 and a red for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for an equipment, put it onto the battlefield. When it attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. Note that Godo is not a samurai. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. So, more or less the Aurelia ability for Samurai, not quite as great as Aurelia because it doesn't untap everything, which does get a little bit awkward at times. Ooh, there's a Sword of Vengeance. Right here, we can run the Crucible down. Crucible will definitely eat the Pernicious Deed. I don't think that's what I want. We will activate the Scroll Rack, just do a little bit of digging, see if we can find something to speed us up. We'll put back the Hour of Devastation, the Inferno Titan, and a Mountain. See what comes up. We get some more lands. Mountain to the bottom. We'll go Hour of Devastation, then we'll put Inferno Titan on top. Ooh, draw a Palladium Mirror. That'll give us a little bit of ramp, though. Again, probably we'll just get eaten up by the Pernicious Deed. Play a Mountain. And I guess we passed the not a super efficient use of our mana, but it does set us up a little bit better for the following turns, I think. But again, we also do have to play around this Pernicious Deed, because definitely a problematic card to play around. Destroys each artifact, creature, and enchantment. Note that that is most of the permanent types. By the way, Muldrotha lays down a Yahenni Undying Partisan on their turn. Rhys is going to make a token. Yeah, the game's going to get kind of weird now with opponent just leaving this Pernicious Deed out there because now they can just sit back on it and stall the game out for as long as they like. And what'll be interesting, so Prossh is definitely very strong in the late game. Muldrotha is crazy strong in the late game, just that it needs to get to the late game. I would say that for the most part, Muldrotha isn't really a fast deck by any means, so it also wants to slow the game down. Our deck is not the quickest. Gilded Lotus for our opponent. Our deck can win relatively quickly since we're only trying to assemble a couple cards, but we can also get there late as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets the most benefit out of this game slowing down. Sol Rain coming down for the Muldrotha. That'll speed up their clock for getting Muldrotha into play. Whew, bribery on the Prossh opponent. Nice. Well, let's see where this goes. Pay 5, search for an Eldrazi. Don't know if Prossh runs Eldrazi. I don't know that it needs to. Certainly opponent can grab whatever the best creature in their deck is. Gets a Grave Titan. Solid choice. That will definitely speed up the game clock a whole lot. The Pernicious Deed can easily wipe the tokens, but the Grave Titan's going to be a little bit harder, because if they go X6, then they're going to lose their Gilded Lotus, their Signet. It'll be a significant loss of mana and tempo. Yahenni's going to come into us for 2. Yeah, that's fine. We go down to 37. There's an Inferno Titan. I think right here we just run out the Palladium Mirror. Yeah, I like that. And then we'll leave up some mana to scroll rack if we need to. Martyr's Cause for the Rhys opponent. Sacrifice a creature. The next time the source of your choice would deal damage to any target, prevent that. Nice. Seems good in a token deck. Ogre Battle Driver for the Prossh. That is good in a Prossh deck. That may be worth a board wipe. Satyr Wayfinder for the Muldrotha opponent. Yep, gonna get some stuff into their graveyard. Ooh, builds a Grey Merchant of Asphodel, a Sakura Tribe Elder, and an Expedition map. Yeah, those will be nice to get back later on. Opponent's gonna spread the damage around. They're sending Grave Titan to the Prossh opponent, Yahenni into us, and 2 zombies into the Rhys opponent. And they will get a couple more zombies off of the Grave Titan. So everyone takes a little bit of damage. And at the end step, we're going to use a scroll rack. Don't need the Sword of Vengeance. We want to keep the land. If we only dig for 1, that's going to get us the Hour of Devastation. Yeah, I guess we just dig for 1. I want to keep the Crucible of Worlds. Yep, so there's the Hour of Devastation. Oh, hey, there's our Sword of Vengeance again. Apparently, when you scroll rack at the end step for 1, it does literal nothing. Whoops. That would be my inexperience with using scroll rack. Lesson learned. The next card after that was a Mountain, but we don't know what's coming after that. What I think I want to do right here is lay down the Inferno Titan. I'm going to play the Arid Mesa first, just in case something happens with a Pernicious Deed and they decide to blow things up. Then we can crack in response and still get to loot with the scroll rack. So Inferno Titan coming down, we're going to shoot the Ogre Battle Driver because that can do some crazy stuff with Prossh. Yahenni's going to get a counter on it. Ooh, nice. The Hour of Devastation can kill Yahenni even if they sacrifice stuff. Interesting. Hopefully the Muldrotha goes after the Prossh or the Rhys opponent. In my opinion, Prossh is definitely scarier than Rhys. I've seen a lot of Rhys decks. Ooh, that's a Terminus. Well, anyway, I've seen a lot of Rhys decks, and it just doesn't seem to win as a deck all that much. I've seen it happen a couple times, but it is a very low percentage for the number of Rhys decks that I've seen. Now, that doesn't necessarily speak to how well those Rhys decks were built and the pilots piloting them. You know, which, if it's a popular commander, then the skill level and the power of the deck may be all over the map, but I never seem to see Rhys win all that much. For as much as I see it, it's got to be one of the more popular commanders that show up on the channel and on Magic Online. Yahenni trying to give itself indestructible, that's not going to work. So all the creatures going into the bottom of the library. We lose our Inferno Titan and our Palladium Mirror. I did like the ramp that the Palladium Mirror was giving us. And Rhys the Redeemed coming back to play. Fact or fiction for our opponent? Yeah, there's some good stuff. Etherflux Reservoir, huh? That's interesting. That doesn't really seem like it would fit in a Muldrotha deck. Sultai not known for its life gain. You got a few options with like Whip of Erebos, but I don't know. Getting to 50 life. Getting to more than 50 life, actually, because if you were at exactly 50, you would also die in the process. Anyway, maybe they have a life gain combo built into their deck. That would make sense. Ooh, that Martyr's Cause, I think actually stops our board wipes. Signet for our opponent. There's Muldrotha. Gonna recast the Satyr Wayfinder. And mills a bunch more stuff. Ooh, Macaeus and Triskelion, you say? That's kind of a problem. At the end step, crack this Arid Mesa. You know there's a mountain on top. Grab a mountain into play. Activate the scroll rack. Things we don't need right now. We can't play the Crucible of Worlds because of this Pernicious Deed. So I say we get rid of the sword and get rid of the Crucible of Worlds for now. Well, I guess we don't need both board wipes at the same time. So we'll put the Hour of Devastation back also. So we'll put Hour on the bottom. Actually, we should have put Sword on the bottom. Sword ends up in the middle, and Crucible on top. Ooh, we draw an Ugin. We're a bunch of mana away from Ugin, unfortunately. So we draw the Crucible of Worlds again. Play the Tectonic Edge. That gives us 6 mana. And I do believe that means that it's time to... Let's get the Gilded Lotus down. Then fire off this Blasphemous Act. So that destroys all the creatures. Still trying to hang on to our Crucible of Worlds. So I guess we'll ship the turn like that. We have some mana open if we want to scroll rack again, but we will draw into our, Sword of Vengeance, and what was the other one we put back? Hour of Devastation. Now, if we get Ugin down next turn, we can exile the Pernicious Deed, and that'll be really huge, actually, because then we can start doing stuff. Genesis for our opponent, great card. Would love to exile that with the Ugin. I used to have nightmares about this card, because back in Casual Extended, Graveyard Hate wasn't so much of a thing, and Genesis would ruin your day. Opponent's going to recast their Prossh. Ooh, this is good. That means that they can only go X1 on the Pernicious Deed, which doesn't really impact us too much. Hopefully they miss a land drop also. So they recast their Prossh. That means we should be able to get this Ugin down next turn and get down to the Exiling. Grimgrin Corpseborn coming into play. Interesting. There's a Thragtusk. So no real reason to scroll rack here because we want both of the cards that are in our hand. Let it come back to our turn. There's a Sword of Vengeance. Unfortunately, let's see, was that a leaves the battlefield. So opponent will get a 3/3 out of it, which they will promptly use to kill this Ugin. But I think it's still worth getting rid of this Pernicious Deed. That thing's been really troubling for us, and it's just been a nightmare to try and play around. So Ugin -6. Ooh, opponent sacrifices the Thragtusk, which means that their token's now going to get exiled, and there's a good chance that Ugin can survive back to our turn. That does keep their Thragtusk from getting exiled, which is good for them, but, an opponent's going to blow up the Pernicious Deed. X1. What does that get? That hits a Sol Ring. Doesn't get anything of ours. Boom, and all the colored stuff gets exiled. Right here, I'm going to activate the Scroll Rack, just because I want to try to make a land drop. So, put both of these back on top, and we do not find a land. Sword of Vengeance to the bottom, Crucible of Worlds to the top, and pass the turn. Oh, opponent sacrificed their Genesis. That was a good play on our opponent's part, actually. I saw them sack for the to get the damage prevention, which I'm like, I wasn't really sure why they were doing that, but it was so that to prevent the exiling of Genesis. Yeah, good play on their part. Rhys coming back to play. Ooh, that's rough. Opponent's paying 5 mana to get their Rhys back. That's, tells us that they probably don't have a ton going on in their hand, or at least a ton that's useful without having a lot of tokens around. Skull Mulcher. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature devoured. So opponent just cycling it? No, they're just going to lay down a 3/3. Wow. And a Skull Clamp. Seems good. Equips the Skull Clamp. Lightning Greaves for the Muldrotha opponent. Lightning Greaves could be bad news for our Ugin. Oh, and Muldrotha scooped it up. So, just the 3 of us left, unfortunately. Now, I really like our positioning now that Muldrotha's gone, because Prossh, we've slowed Prossh down quite a bit, and now we don't have to worry about Muldrotha just winning the game with the combo in their graveyard, and that's going to give us a window to try and get our combo down. And there's our Crucible of Worlds. So I think first things first, shoot the Skull Mulcher. Yeah, they'll get to draw some cards off of it, which I don't love, but I do want to protect our Ugin. I've been thinking about whether to go Godo and kind of just run something out there haphazardly. Prossh doesn't have anything in play, and there's a good chance that they'll probably try and tap out for Prossh again. One more land, which they probably drew off the cards they just got. They'll recast Prossh at 10, which means they'll tap out. Then we should be free to slam our combo next turn. So that being the case, let's lay down the Crucible of Worlds, play a land from our graveyard, cast the Solemn Simulacrum, get another land out of our deck, and now we're 1 turn away. So pass the turn. Genesis trigger for our opponent. Wow, opponent plays nothing and passes. Huh. I don't even think they played a land last turn. Unless they're just going to try to like end step, tap, and make some tokens. Oh, opponent's going to Vandal Blast. Does that matter? Scroll Rack for 1 doesn't really do anything. Crucible of Worlds, yeah, I think we got the land we needed. Oh, it's going to hit the Gilded Lotus. Gilded Lotus will be a problem. I guess first things, crack this Arid Mesa. Good play, opponent. Get a mountain and let that resolve. So we lose a bunch of important artifacts. We will get to draw a card off of the deal. Ooh, there's a Magus of the Moon. What does that hit? Hits a couple things. Actually, it hits almost all of Rhys's lands. There's a Parallel Lives. Yee. There's a mountain. Play the mountain. Shoot the Rhys. Rhys is going to make a token. Sounds good. How much mana do we have? We have 9 mana. We could go Godo, Sword of Vengeance, and just start attacking right away. That'd be good for, what, 10 damage? But next turn, opponent's going to lay down Prossh with the Parallel Lives, and that is a little bit scary. So I think we go for it right here. Opponent just used a Vandal Blast, so it should be reasonably likely that they don't have any more artifact removal in their hand. Plus, having to deal with this means that they're not dealing with other things that we're doing, which I like. So there's Helm of the Host. And then we'll play this Magus of the Moon to try and lock down the Rhys opponent. I wonder if they use the Thespian stage to copy the plains. Actually, could copy a forest, too. Doesn't have to be your land. Yep, gonna copy a plains. Genesis trigger for the Rhys opponent. They have no green mana. Corehaven does nothing with the Magus of the Moon out. Yeah, if you're running a lot of utility lands, Blood Moon can be devastating to you. I've messed around with Blood Moon and Aurelia a little bit, and I run a lot of utility lands in Aurelia, and I find that I have locked myself out as badly as I've locked my opponents out. It has happened on at least a couple occasions. Ooh, Final Judgment. Oh. So that leaves Helm of the Host in play, and that means we can recast Godo. Opponent does get their mana production back, and opponent's going to Ghost Quarter our Strip Mine. Seems fine. We still have a Tectonic Edge. Opponent's going to recast their Prossh, get about 1 million tokens. Unfortunately, we're 1 short on Ugin to exile the Prossh. There's a mountain. Play the mountain. So we could plus Ugin on the Prossh and use the Hour of Devastation to... Actually, we wouldn't even need to do that. We could just play the Hour of Devastation, wipe the Prossh, and then plus the Ugin. Yeah, I like that. Man, we are still a ways away from the ultimate on this Ugin. Oh, no! Oh, the Hour of Devastation hits Planeswalkers. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Oh, man. Yep, that was a big punt. Oh, crap. New cards. It helps when I read new cards. That does mean that opponents should still be... They would need 2 more lands to be able to recast their Prossh. There's a Sun Titan going to get back the Ghost Quarter. Seems good. I mean, based on that, I think Rhys isn't in a terrible spot now. They have the Sun Titan. That seems like it can do some stuff. Well, I guess they're out of permanents in their graveyard. They can use their Ghost Quarter, though. Ooh, Feldakan Orrery. Which mana do we have? So, I mean, we're a long ways away from being able to cast and equip Godo in the same turn because it died. So I think that... no, if we shoot the Core Haven, we'll just get it back with the Sun Titan. Yeah, never mind. So we'll just let it come back to our turn. There's an Inferno Titan. We have 10 mana. Oh, we're 1 short. Well, I guess in that case we cast Godo. I'm going to get the Hammer of Nazan right here. It'll 1, protect Godo, and 2, if we can assemble the combo next turn, then we can do some really crazy stuff, getting all of our equipments and attaching them at instant speed, which is really cool. Now, the problem we have to worry about is whatever Prossh is going to try to slam at their end step. We won't have a chance to respond to that at all. There's an Academy Rector. That's a good card. Wonder what they've got on the other side of that. Overwhelming Splendor could be interesting. That's a Mycolith at the end step. I suppose there are worse things. We'll give them some card draw possibility, though, with Skull Clamp and things like that. Swords to Plowshares is the thing that we need to watch out for from the Rhys player. Really, any instant speed removal. Ooh, that's an attrition. Well, Godo's indestructible. Okay, that's good news. They can do some stuff, though, that will get weird with our Godo tokens, assuming we can get the Helm equipped. That's a Mana Geyser. That's a good card. We might save that for next turn. Yeah, right now I think we just try this Helm of the Hosts and hope for the best. See if opponents got anything. Go to combat. We're going to get a trigger. Here we go. Opponents have a lot of open mana, so there's still a lot of ways that they could get out of this. I don't know exactly what those are, but we're just going to do our best to hope nothing goes wrong. So we get a copy of Godo that's going to get to search for an equipment. We're going to get Sword of Vengeance, so that way we can give our Godo Vigilance, which it allows it to attack every turn because it doesn't untap itself every time. Oh, opponent's got something. They're going to sacrifice... Let's see. They're going to destroy the Godo copy. That's fine. They're going to get to draw some cards with the Skull Clamp. That is all fine to me. Man, they still got a lot of mana left, though. Do they have 6 mana left? Ooh. That's what happens when you're on turn 12 of the game. Everyone's got a lot of mana. So the token of Godo goes down. So we're going to attack the Prossh. Prossh is way scarier to me than Rhys. So Godo's going to create a second combat step. Rhys is going to Core Haven our Godo. That's fine, because we're still going to keep getting tokens. So no damage to the Prossh. And now they're tapped out on colored mana, which I like. I mean, there's no Swords to Plowshares in our future. Another combat step, another Helm trigger, another Godo. Search for another equipment. This time it's going to be Argentum Armor, which we will put onto the actual Godo. Even though it doesn't do damage, we can still just keep attacking with it every time and destroy all the permanents if we need to. Boom! So Argentum Armor, the Feldakan Orrery, since that's the thing that's most likely going to cause us problems. And the token's going to give us another combat step, and things are looking good now. Opponent's going to play a Doubling Season. Okay. Don't know if they realize that we have infinite now. Now they're mostly tapped out. They've got 1 mana left. Opponent asking if it's infinite, saying yes. So they scoop. Nice. So Prossh going down. Can't handle the infinite combat steps. Another combat. Another Godo. We do need to watch out for that Academy Rector. How do we avoid messing with that? Oh, opponent scoops it up. Nice. I guess they don't have Overwhelming Splendor, because if they did, that'd probably be the thing that would actually stop our combo. Boom. So, possibly competitive Godo. Yeah. When you have a commander that can tutor for your win condition, that allows us to devote most of our deck to just being controlling and ramping. We don't have a lot of cards actually devoted to our win condition. We have Godo, a few equipments in Helm of the Host, and Hammer of Nazan. And that's basically it. I mean, even Helm of the Host by itself can just make enough tokens to end the game. But with Hammer of Nazan, you can equip all the other equipments in your deck and just, you know, get some added value out of it. But Panharmonicon helps that also, that in that you can get both equipments at the same time. But being that you need so few cards and that your commander finds them, it really leaves a lot of open spaces in your deck to customize your deck to try to stop what everyone else is doing. And that's a really powerful thing. Now, it can be a bit fragile and it is a bit slow. You do have to hope that everyone's at a removal for at least one point in the game, especially if no one's played against it before. I don't think they're necessarily going to register Godo as the most threatening thing, especially when there's a Prossh player or someone like that floating around that has been a competitive deck for a long time, and people know that it can just end the game out of nowhere. I mean, if this deck catches on, eventually it'll get that reputation, but it's still got a ways to go before that happens, so really powerful in that you only need a couple cards to win the game, and your commander finds them. So yeah. Like anything, this deck can be tuned up a bunch. I've only played it twice now, but it has won both games that it's played. One was against a casual game, so I didn't expect them to really put up that much of a fight. And then I took it out in this game, which was a strong decks only kind of game. We actually did really well in there. It would have been interesting if the Muldrotha stuck around. They had the Lightning Greaves, and they may have attacked into the Ugin if they had anything. They also had their combo in the graveyard, so we would have need to have gone to great lengths to keep Muldrotha off the battlefield so that they couldn't get their combo. But yeah, so far I've been impressed with our ability to just tutor out the couple equipments that we need to end the game, and essentially play it as mono-red combo is really what we're doing. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.